Ever wondered how people shopped before dollar bills and credit cards? From seashells to salt, ancient civilizations created fascinating ways to trade and pay for goods. Let's explore the creative solutions that shaped commerce before modern money existed. Picture this. You're a farmer in ancient times with extra wheat, but you need new tools. This is where barter comes in, the original trading system where people directly exchanged goods they had for things they needed. While it might sound simple, barter had some real challenges. Imagine trying to trade your cow for a new pot, but the potter doesn't need a whole cow. This double coincidence of wants problem led communities to get creative. They began using commonly desired items as standard trading goods. Things like cattle, shells, or salt became early forms of currency because everyone agreed on their value. This was the first step toward more organized trading systems that would eventually lead to the money we use today. Salt wasn't just for seasoning your dinner in ancient times, it was literally worth its weight in gold. As one of history's most valuable commodities, salt was so precious that Roman soldiers received their wages in salt. That's actually where we get the word salary from. But why salt? Well, it was essential for preserving food in a world without refrigeration, making it a vital resource for survival. From ancient Rome to medieval Europe and across trade routes in Africa, salt became a trusted form of currency. In places like the Sahara Desert, salt bars were traded for gold at equal weights. Even ancient China used salt coins, and governments strictly controlled salt production to maintain its value. This white gold helped build entire trade networks and empires. Let's dive into one of the most widespread forms of early currency, shells and beads. These small, durable items revolutionized trade by offering something previous payment methods couldn't: portability and standardization. Cowrie shells in particular became a global trading sensation. These glossy little shells were perfect as currency. They were small, hard to counterfeit, and naturally limited in supply. From China to Africa and even parts of America, cowrie shells became the go-to currency for everyday transactions. Native American tribes also developed their own sophisticated currency system using wampum, beautiful beads made from special shells. These weren't just decorative, they were carefully crafted into standard sizes and colors, making them reliable units of exchange. The practice was so successful that even European colonists adopted wampum for trade. Let's step into the bustling world of ancient marketplaces. These vibrant trading centers were the heartbeat of early economies, operating through a fascinating mix of barter and commodity money. Merchants would set up their stalls with goods arranged by value, perhaps displaying salt blocks, metal tools, or textile rolls as reference points for pricing. A typical transaction might involve a trader offering 5 lengths of silk in exchange for 3 copper bars, with cowrie shells making up the difference. Market officials often helped standardize these exchanges, acting as early price regulators. They would establish common conversion rates, like how many shells equaled 1 clay pot, or how much grain matched a bronze tool. These marketplaces weren't just trading spots, they were community centers where people shared news, culture, and built economic relationships. When traders from different cultures met, they faced a unique challenge: how to negotiate without speaking the same language. They developed fascinating solutions we now call silent trade. Merchants would lay out their goods on the ground and step back, letting the other party examine the offer. The second trader would then place their items next to the first batch, indicating a proposed exchange. This back and forth would continue until both sides were satisfied, all without speaking a word. In West Africa, gold traders and salt merchants perfected this method along trade routes. They even used hand signals and simple gestures that became a universal trading language. These creative communication methods helped build vast trading networks across language barriers. Let's explore how ancient farming communities turned their livestock and harvests into living money. Cattle were the original walking wallet. A cow wasn't just wealth, it was also a source of milk, labor, and could literally multiply your savings by producing calves. In many African societies, cattle became the standard measure of value. People even paid dowries in cows. Crops played their part too. Ancient Mesopotamians used barley as currency, carefully measuring it out for trades. In ancient Egypt, workers building the pyramids were paid in bread and beer. These living currencies had a unique advantage. They could feed you if times got tough, something you definitely can't do with modern money. Let's explore one of humanity's most clever financial innovations, the IOU system. Long before paper money, ancient merchants created clay tablets and tokens to track debts and promises. In Mesopotamia, around 3000 BCE, traders used small clay balls called bullae to record transactions. Inside these hollow balls, they placed tiny tokens representing goods like grain or livestock. This system worked like an ancient receipt. The person holding the bulla could claim the promised items later. In ancient Babylon, temples acted like early banks, storing valuable items and issuing clay tablet receipts. These tablets became some of the first transferable credit notes, passing from person to person as a form of payment. It's amazing to think that these simple clay IOUs laid the groundwork for modern banking. Trade routes were the ancient highways of commerce, transforming everyday items into widely accepted currencies. These paths, like the famous Silk Road, weren't just for moving goods. They created shared value systems across vast distances. Merchants traveling these routes needed reliable ways to trade, so they started using items that everyone along the path would accept. Silk from China, spices from India, or amber from the Baltic became like international currency. A trader could start their journey with rolls of silk, exchange them for spices halfway through, and end up with precious metals, all because these goods had recognized value everywhere they went. Even local products gained universal worth. Chinese tea bricks were so trusted they were stamped with official marks and used as money across Asia. Let's look at how ancient civilizations kept track of their business deals. In ancient Mesopotamia, merchants developed an impressive system using clay tablets to record transactions. These weren't just simple notes. They were detailed records showing who owed what to whom. Scribes would carefully press cuneiform writing into soft clay using a reed stylus, recording everything from grain deliveries to silver loans. Once dried, these tablets became permanent records that could last thousands of years, and many have survived to this day. Temples and palaces employed professional scribes who created standardized formats for these records, similar to modern receipts. They even developed special symbols for different quantities and types of goods, making it easier to track large transactions. Now, let's explore one of the biggest game changers in economic history, the invention of standardized coins. Around 600 BCE in Lydia, modern-day Turkey, people started using small, standardized pieces of electrum, a natural mixture of gold and silver. These weren't just random chunks of metal. They were carefully weighed and marked with official symbols, making them the world's first true coins. This innovation solved a huge problem. No more weighing metals or arguing about quality during every transaction. Merchants could now quickly count out payments instead of measuring precious metals. The concept spread rapidly through ancient Greece and Persia, with different kingdoms developing their own distinctive coins. This standardization of currency revolutionized trade and laid the foundation for our modern monetary system. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the fascinating world of ancient trade. If you enjoyed learning about these creative payment methods, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Share with friends who love history. See you next time.